This video will assist in training you to fill a volunteer role at Paddle Victoria Marathon events. We would like to thank you for volunteering your time. PV Marathon believes that safe and efficient management of events requires officials and volunteers to have trained in advance for the roles that they fill in events. Both race officials and volunteers are important to the successful running of events. The distinction for our purposes is that officials are the designated positions on the competition committee, the safety officer and technical officer roles, while volunteers fill other roles essential to the operation of events. These are listed in the organisation chart.
Radio communication is vital during a race to ensure the safety of paddlers and volunteers. Radios are used by race officials and volunteers, the chief official, chief umpire, chief safety officer, turnboy and portage officials, timekeeping and safety boat crews. Different types of radios may be used at different events. The operation of radios will be demonstrated at the volunteer briefings. You will also do a radio check, where you switch on the radio, check the battery is charged, ensure that you are on the right channel, this is usually Paddlevic channel 1, test each radio and set the volumes. If you're in a safety boat, ensure that the waterproof bags are used and that the volume is loud enough to be heard over the noise of the motor. There are various buttons on the radios. On the top, there is a dial that you can use to change between channels. We are usually on channel 1. On the side, there is an orange and black transmit button. Click the button and pause before you begin to talk to ensure that you are transmitting. The on and off button is on the side, and so are the volume up and down buttons marked with a plus and a minus.
When using the two-way radios, please remember that everyone is listening. Be polite and do not swear. Ensure that you are on the correct channel. This is usually Paddle Victoria Channel 1. Think about what has to be said before speaking. Listen before transmitting so as to not interfere with others already on the air. Keep your messages short and clear as possible. Use short, easily recognisable words. Check for understanding and request confirmation if necessary. When calling another station, state the call sign of the other station first and then identify yourself. For example, Chief Official, this is Safety Boat 1, over. If you are receiving a message, you then respond, Safety Boat 1, this is Chief Official, over. You always first communicate who you are speaking to and then your own name. This grabs the attention of the person who you are speaking to and then tells them who the message is coming from. After this initial communication, you can then communicate your message. It is acceptable practice after initial contact has been made to not repeat your own call sign except for in the closing transmission. For example, Safety Boat 1, this is Chief Official, out.
There are potentially up to 4 roles at an international championship event at the portage. This is the Chief Portage Umpire, the Portage Entry Official, the Portage Exit Official, and Feeding Control. For state races and championship events, there are typically 2 positions, the Portage Entry Official and the Portage Exit Official. They report to the Chief Course Umpire and are a full-time role during the race. They have the responsibility to record the boat number of boats entering the portage, record any issues between competitors such as collisions and checking/squeezing, to record the boat number of boats exiting the portage, and to report any issues to the Chief Course Umpire as soon as they occur. Portages are laid out as shown in the diagram below. Paddlers get out of their boats in the disembarkation zone. They then run along the feeding or transit lanes and get back into their boats in the re-embarkation zone. Paddlers may only be provided with assistance in terms of food or drink inside the feeding lane. If a paddler has been awarded a time penalty by the chief course umpire, then they may serve that time penalty inside the penalty box. In your folder, you will have a portage record sheet. On this sheet, record that you're at the portage, what the race is, the date, and record your name. As boats approach the portage, write down the number of the boat, and each time that boat completes the portage, add a tick in the columns labelled 1 to 8. Each boat will have its own row. If you have more boats than the number of rows on the first table, continue on the second and third tables across the page. In your folder, you will have a portage incident report form. On this form, you will record the race, the date, what portage you're at if there is more than one, and your name. In the case of an incident, you record the event as you saw it. So this would include the incident type. For example, did one paddler obstruct another one from completing their portage using their boat? You also record the boats involved, so their boat numbers. If you don't see the boat numbers, you can provide a written description of the boats or paddlers involved. What time the incident happened, and then a further description of the incident and including diagrams if that helps to illustrate the incident. Inform the chief course umpire as soon as the incident has occurred and return the sheet to the chief course umpire at the conclusion of your duties.
On behalf of Paddle Victoria Marathon, we would like to thank you for volunteering to help run this race. Without volunteers, our races would not be possible.